Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a DIY wig tutorial. I wanted blue hair, so I'm going to show you guys how I achieved this look. As always guys, everything that I'm going to be using for this tutorial will be listed in the description box below, so make sure you check that out. Also, I wanted to mention to you guys, everything that I'm going to be using is from the local hair supply store. So we're going to start this tutorial off by sewing down our lace closure. Now this lace closure does not come with the traditional lace, so you're going to have to be very careful when sewing this down. I'm just going to use some bobby pins to keep the lace in place, and then I'm going to go ahead and start to sew. Now as you guys can see, I was being a little bit heavy-handed with my lace and I tore it a little bit, so be quite careful if you decide to use this brand. I'm just going to sew my lace closure now in the traditional method. I'm going to be going through the dome spandex cap, and then I'm going to pull the lace down. Now make sure that while you're sewing, you're keeping your lace in the position that you want it to be. You don't want this to be lumpy, and you want it to lay as flat as possible. Now one tip I would like to give you guys when sewing down lace closures is I like to sew the sides down first, and then I sew the back down. This just ensures that the lace closure lays as flat as possible. So I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Again, I'm sewing the sides first, then I'm going to continue all the way around the lace closure. So now that the lace closure is sewn down, this is what it should look like. As you can see, it lays quite flat. And I'm just going to take this hair and pin it out of my way, and we're going to start to sew our hair extensions on the back of the wig. Now for today's tutorial, I decided to speed this process up because I have tons of videos of me doing this step by step. So I like to start off at the bottom of the dome spandex cap. Now a tip here is I do not sew through the actual elastic of the band. I'm sewing through the fabric, and I'm doing this so that I don't stretch my wig out too soon. So I'm going to use the one width. I'm not doubling right now, and I'm going to go around the perimeter of the dome spandex cap. Now because this hair is not virgin hair, it's hair store hair, I'm not going to do the flip over method with this wig. I'm just going to cut my wefts. Now if you have good quality hair, you can also cut your wefts with virgin extensions. I know a lot of times we do the flip over method, but if the hair is quality, it should not do any excessive shedding. Now we're going to repeat this process on this opposite side. We're going to take one single weft, and we're going to sew from ear to ear. Now I have a 1-inch parting in between these wefts. So remember, my first two wefts were single. Now when I'm going from ear to ear, I'm going to be doubling my wefts at this point. Now this is a good technique if you have a couple bundles of hair that you want to fit onto a wig and you don't have a lot of space. Definitely double or even triple your wefts. So I'm going to continue this process from ear to ear. Now the closer I get to the top of my head, the closer my spacing in between my wefts are. So I don't like to have too much spacing in between them when I get to the top of my head, because you don't want any spaces when you go to shake your head. Now at this point, you're going to complete this process. You're going from ear to ear, going back and forth, sewing the wefts down. Then when you get to this point, depending on how much hair you have left, you can continue to double your wefts, but I like to double mine because I like my hair to be full at the top. So I'm going to start to go around the crown again, and I'm not going directly to the front because I want to sew directly onto that lace closure, and you're going to see exactly what I mean in a few minutes. So we're just going to complete this process going around that lace closure, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to finish this up. Now at this point, you've sewn all your hair down. You won't see any spaces. You shouldn't see any dome spandex cap. But I like to take 2 wefts and I like to sew directly onto the lace closure. And as you can see, it makes the install seamless. You don't see any lumps, any bumps. You don't see the lace closure underneath it, and it makes your wig look so much more natural. So I'm going to sew as close to that closure as possible. And then once that's complete, I'm going to customize the lace closure. Now because this hair wasn't the best quality, I didn't want to bleach the knots. So I am going to tweeze my parting because the parting that comes directly out of the package wasn't feasible for me. So I'm just going to start by tweezing the front of the closure. And I'm going to do that until it looks more realistic like it does now. So this is what I want it to look like. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut in style. So we're going to pop this bad boy on, and I'm going to show you how I cut it and how we curl it. Now this particular brand of hair was not 100% human, so I had to be very careful with how I cut it and how I curled it. So for this, I decided to use a razor comb because I didn't want to have too much bulk. And I know because this hair is not 100% natural fibers, after a while it starts to get really full and thick on the ends, and if you blunt cut it, it's going to look bad. It's going to look bad, okay? So I would suggest with this brand of hair using a razor. So I'm just going to razor the front to give it some natural layering in the front and to frame my face. And then we're going to go ahead and curl. Now the curling iron I'm going to be using today is by Hot Tools. I got this from my local beauty supply. It's so old, but it is a 2-inch curling iron, and I'm going to be curling all of the hair away from the face. So what that means is I'm curling the hair back, not a flip. I'm just curling it back. So if you guys need help with this, make sure you stop the tutorial, stop the video, and just look at how I'm holding the hair. I'm going to curl it and let it cool off in my hands, and then we're going to do a pin curl. I'm doing this because I want these curls to set, and remember, it's not natural hair fibers, so this hair won't necessarily behave like natural hair, but this is a good technique if you just want to have your curls last a little bit longer. Definitely pin curl them. And this is also going to give you a lot of fullness. Now for the rest of the hair, I'm just going to be curling backwards. I'm not going to be setting those or pin curling those honestly because I don't have any time and I was actually on my way out the door to go to work. So we're just going to curl everything and we're going to let that cool off. Once it cools, you're going to take your pins out and then we're just going to have some fun. Play with it. It's blue hair. Have fun with it. But I will give you guys a tip. If you want fluffy curls, use a paddle brush. As you can see, it just got so bouncy and big. I love that look. Paddle brushes are your best friend. But that's it for today's video, guys. I really do hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know how you guys like the blue on me. And if you guys aren't doing so already, make sure you follow me on Snap. I had such a good time playing with this hair on Snapchat. The filters were hilarious. But don't forget to follow me on Snap and Instagram at ChimereNicole. And I will see you guys in the next hair tutorial.